Once upon a time, Jonah, a humble man, lived his peaceful life until one day he received a special mission from God. "Jonah," God called out, "I need you to go to the city of Nineveh and deliver a very important message." Jonah was puzzled and a bit scared. Nineveh was known for its wickedness. Why would he go there? But God's message was clear. "Tell them to change their ways, repent their sins, and I will save them," God instructed. Feeling overwhelmed, Jonah hesitated. He doubted if he could succeed in such a daunting task. Yet, deep down, he knew he couldn't ignore God's call. The fate of many people rested on his shoulders. The stickman journey began as Jonah gathered his courage and set off towards Nineveh. Along the way, Jonah realized that this wasn't simply about delivering a message, but about offering a chance for redemption. Would the people of Nineveh listen? Could Jonah help them see the path to change? Join us in this adventure of faith and courage and find out how this humble stickman takes on the monumental task given by God. But Jonah was afraid. Instead of heading to Nineveh, he turned and ran the other way as fast as his stickman legs could carry him. He rushed down to the port of Joppa, where he found a ship just about to set sail, heading far, far away from Nineveh. Perfect, thought Jonah, and he paid his fare and climbed aboard, hoping to hide from God's call. As the ship left the harbor, Jonah crept below deck and quickly fell fast asleep, feeling certain he had escaped his mission. But then, out of nowhere, God sent a powerful wind across the sea. The waves grew enormous, the ship rocked and groaned, and a terrible storm raged all around. The sailors were terrified, crying out to their gods and throwing cargo overboard to lighten the ship. Meanwhile, Jonah slept soundly below deck, unaware of the chaos he had caused. The captain shook Jonah awake. "How can you sleep through this? Get up and call on your God." The sailors cast lots to find out who was responsible for the storm, and the lot fell on Jonah. Jonah confessed everything. "I am the one causing this," he said with a heavy heart. "I ran from God. Throw me into the sea and the storm will stop." The sailors tried their best to row to shore, but the waves only grew fiercer. Finally, with great sadness, they picked Jonah up and threw him overboard into the roaring sea. At once the storm stopped. The sea became completely calm, but Jonah sank beneath the waves, tumbling and twisting, going deeper and deeper into the dark water. Just when all seemed lost, God sent a huge fish. With one enormous gulp, the great fish swallowed Jonah whole, and Jonah found himself sitting inside the fish's enormous stomach. There in the dark belly of the fish, Jonah sat quietly and began to pray. He thanked God for saving his life, and he thought long and hard about the mission he had tried to run from. After 3 days and 3 nights, the great fish swam to the shore, and with a mighty heave, spit Jonah out onto dry land. Jonah stood up, took a deep breath, and smiled. He was ready. No more running. It was time to go to Nineveh and deliver God's message, just as he had been asked. Jonah made his way to the great city of Nineveh, but before he even entered the gates, he sat down under a tree outside the city walls, arms crossed and grumbling. He still was not sure these people deserved to be warned. Taking a deep breath, Jonah finally got up and walked into Nineveh. It was a huge city, full of busy people rushing about. Jonah looked around nervously, not knowing how they would react. Then Jonah opened his mouth and began to preach. He walked through the streets calling out loud, "In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed unless you change your ways." To Jonah's great surprise, the people of Nineveh actually listened. The king himself got off his throne, put on sackcloth, and declared that everyone must repent and turn from their evil ways. God saw that the people of Nineveh had truly changed their hearts, and he had mercy on them. He decided not to bring the disaster he had planned. Nineveh was forgiven. But Jonah was furious. He stomped back outside the city, sat down in the dirt with his arms crossed, and pouted. "I knew this would happen," he fumed. "These people did terrible things. They should have faced the consequences." Sound familiar? If we are honest, most of us are a little like Jonah. There are times when we hear that still small voice telling us which direction to go, and we head the other way instead. Maybe we avoid a difficult conversation we know we should have. Maybe we hold on to habits or choices we know are not good for us. Maybe we simply ignore the nudge to do the right thing, hoping it will just go away. But just like Jonah, running from the right path has a way of leading us straight into our own personal storms. Trouble has a way of finding us when we are headed in the wrong direction. The good news is that God never gives up on us. Just like he pursued Jonah through the storm and even inside a giant fish, he continues to give us second chances and third chances and more. When we finally choose to turn around and follow God's leading, something amazing happens. The storms begin to calm, the burdens feel lighter, and we discover a sense of purpose and peace that we simply could not find on our own. Jonah's story reminds us that obedience is not always easy, and it does not always feel fair. But when we choose God's way, we always end up in a far better place than where our own running would have taken us. So whatever direction you're being called toward today, take courage, choose to follow. You may just find that the very mission you wanted to avoid becomes the greatest adventure of your life.